On Larry King Now, it's T.J. Miller. What's with the glasses?
It's sort of an homage to you, but I'll take them off as soon as you ask me one of your hard-hitting questions.
What does T.J. stand for?
Todd Joseph.
You're leaving Silicon Valley. Why?
Because it was the right time.
You're too big for it, right?
No, and let's be honest, there's no way that the show isn't going to change and become better. You didn't get the choice to be brought into this life, but every man, every woman has the choice of when to exit. And I think that should be seen as noble, and we should be able to talk about it. So I try and make that funny. Good luck, TJ.
I didn't make that funny.
Yeah, you can't, but there are good parts of the special also.
Plus,
I have a particular perspective on human beings being an alien, whereas you are a human, so likely you relate more to your guests than I do, unless it's Usher, who I relate to because of his abilities in the dancing department.
all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our guest today is Critics' Choice Award-winning actor and comedian T.J. Miller. He stars as Erlich Bachman on the HBO comedy Silicon Valley. He has an upcoming comedy special also on HBO called T.J. Miller Meticulously Ridiculous. He hosts the Gorburger show on Comedy Central and can be heard in the upcoming Emoji movie, in which he plays the starring role of the meh emoji. I have no idea what that means. I'm not sure I care. The fourth season finale of Silicon Valley will air June 25th. And Meticulously Ridiculous airs June 17th, both on HBO. And the Emoji movie is in theaters July 28th. And later we'll be joined by a special guest later, but more on that to come. So, TJ, what's with the glasses?
Larry, I try and dress up and be as formal as possible when you allow me to grace your show, and it's sort of an homage to you. And I have, one of the things that I do.
The glasses as an homage to me.
Absolutely, but I'll take them off as soon as you ask me one of your hard-hitting questions.
What does TJ stand for?
Todd Joseph. I changed it in the first grade because there was another Todd in the classroom, and I didn't understand that two people could have the same name.
Meticulously Ridiculous is your first HBO special.
Yeah?
What happens on it? What do we see?
I mean...
Is it you doing stand-up?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, it is a mix of traditional stand-ups, so stories and observations and wordplay, punnery. And then it's just absolute nonsense. It's just absolutely absurd.
Isn't it a contradiction in term to be meticulously ridiculous?
I think so. I mean, actually, no one's ever brought that up. I mostly did the name of that because it is a description of my stand-up and what I do, and also it's very hard to say. So I thought it was funny if people wanted to talk about it. It's kind of a tongue twister. But you're right, it is. Someone who's ridiculous wouldn't need to or be meticulous, and yet I am both of those things. A contradiction in terms, that's what my wife Kate calls me.
Going back to first grade, do you think you're weird?
Yeah, but I think everybody kind of feels weird.
Yeah, but you're with the bow tie and the
Thank
chains
you, sir.
and
Well, again.
the way you look, the whole look, the beard, the look. You're it.
Thank you, sir.
Where was that recorded at?
I was in Denver. I'm kind of a big proponent of the Mile High City, and so I thought it was really important to. My first special on Comedy Central was in Boulder, but I'm from Denver proper. I'm from downtown, and so I did it at the Paramount Theater, this historic theater that I had always kind of dreamed. I saw comedians play. I always dreamed of playing it as a comedian, but didn't really think that was within reach. So I just enjoyed, going and seeing shows there. It's very historic. And so, when HBO came to me, I went to the Paramount and said, this has always been something, I grew up here. And what was great too is it's an audience that is very much like me. People from Denver have very similar sensibilities, progressive ideals, and also, smoke marijuana and think that that's a
legal
part of the day. Yeah, absolutely.
And they go to Rocky games?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a Rocky Mountain High. And so the audience was so supportive. It was great. I felt like it was a solid A-.
Is it true that you tackle death in this special?
Yeah, I think I talk about the idea of being pro-suicide if it's not about loneliness or if it's about a decision to sort of exit life. I talk about death and
want to
releasing.
exit? Go.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't get the choice to be brought into this life, but every man, every woman has the choice of when to exit. And I think that should be seen as noble, and we should be able to talk about it. So I try and make that funny. Good luck, TJ.
I didn't make that funny.
Yeah, you can't, but there are good parts of the special also. And then the idea of sort of releasing the death anxiety and kind of shaping the way that you see death in a post-religious, post-meaning society. I also talk about how time is the closest thing we have to a deity right now.
Were you the funny kid in high school?
Yeah, that's the only reason I got elected the president of the school.
You were elected president?
My speech was so, yes, with no previous political school government background.
What was your campaign slogan?
I didn't have a campaign slogan. The banner that I used was me with my school ID number and a mugshot pose on either side.
And they loved it.
And they just loved it, and they thought, well, let's have this guy do the morning announcements. But then I got banned from doing the morning announcements for 6 months for making too many nonsense announcements in between the real ones.
You were the class clown.
Yes. Do you want to know? I won class clown and best sense of humor, biggest party animal, and most school spirit. I'm proudest of the last one.
Our guest is comedian, nihilist, TJ Miller. We're discussing why he has to, get this, he has decided to leave Silicon Valley after the break. Probably moving to the Valley here in LA. Stay with us. We're back with TJ Miller. So many things going on. He's in the Emoji Movie. This is his phrase to me. He's Silicon Valley. They air June 25th. Meticulously Ridiculous airs June 17th. And you're leaving Silicon Valley. Why?
Because it was the right time.
You're too big for it, right?
No, it's an organic. I'm so happy that I was on the show. HBO and I kind of decided this was a time that the character could leave. We'd written it in a place where there was an organic departure. And I really, really am grateful to have worked with Mike Judge. And those guys I do think are the best in the game. I mean, those other guys on that show, there are no funnier working in television.
You're not saying HBO came to you and said, let's figure out an exit, or you came to them and let's figure out an exit. How did this work?
I think it was one of those times where both of us sort of came to
Why
the
would they want
conclusion.
you to leave?
And let's be honest, there's no way that the show isn't going to change and become better. I mean, it's Mike Judge, it's Clay Tarver, it's those guys.
HBO's statement, have you heard it?
Yeah.
The
Well, we
producers
made
of-
it together.
The producers of Silicon Valley and TJ Miller have mutually agreed that TJ will not return for season 5.
Yeah. I feel like that show is the best show on television.
Oh, why are you leaving?
But it is because
Why are you leaving?
It is that time, you know. I think also my wife Kate has always quoted David Bowie as saying that somebody is at their best creatively when they're in the water and their toes are barely touching the bottom. And I think that's a really cute quote, and I love when Kate says it. She sort of is more articulate than me, so she says it better. But that, you know, it is good to be in an unstable and unsafe place.
So who are you? You're a voiceover in the Emoji Movie?
Yeah, I am the
You're the
meth
star.
emoji, yeah.
The Emoji.
Yeah.
These emojis like the thing from the...
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is at a point where we make movies about things in your phone. And I'll tell you what, you know, it was that or remake Ghostbusters, but all of us were androgynous. And I decided I didn't want to shave my head, even though I think Kristen Stewart looks great, Tilda Swinton looks great. So I wanted to do an original property in the animation space, because that's one of the things. I don't just do R-rated comedy. I can't make children laugh doing Silicon Valley. I can't do as much stand-up as I'd like to, being on one show or devoting all my time. And here I have something like Gorburger, which is so strange and obtuse, but people love it. Let me put more time into that and produce more of that.
Do you accept the fact that you're weird?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you accept the fact that you're strange?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, then there we go.
Okay.
We did it. It's time to end television completely.
Are you an actor who's funny or a funny man who acts?
Funny man who acts. A comedian who acting is one of the mediums that I do because, like you, I like broadcast. I like doing radio when I travel as a stand-up comedian. I enjoy doing press because I'm a comedian, and if ever I can make people laugh, I'm happy to. I mean, that's what better thing can I do than make people laugh? And I have to be in the Emoji Movie, as well as in Deadpool, as well as in Transformers 4, and then also doing things like Gorburger and cashing in with TJ.
And you're
Miller.
also in Ready Player One?
Yeah, with Steven Spielberg.
What is that about?
It is based on a book that you should read. You'll read it in an hour. My wife read it in 4 hours, and it took me 3 days, but it's the quickest read. It's about the future in the 2040s when the world is completely overpopulated, and we've kind of gone to the Armageddon that we may possibly be heading to right now in this very moment. There is a virtual reality world called the Oasis. And most human beings spend their time in the Oasis because you can have a job there. They use sort of a Bitcoin system. So most humans are in this virtual reality game.
It's a comedy?
It's hysterical, but it is it is funny, and I am the comedy in it. Obviously, I play this bounty hunter in the game who seeks out people and kills them, or captures them, much like Boba Fett from Star Wars. But I'm sort of a mildly amusing, a funny Boba Fett.
Did you enjoy seeing it finished?
I haven't seen it finished. It won't come out until 2018 because they've developed new technology. The film will look like you're in a video game for most of the movie. And it will be 3D, but also on the 2D level, it will be completely different. But that's what Steven Spielberg is, this childlike, wonderful genius who wants to make up new ways to tell stories. That's all he wants to do. And he'll start off the day sometimes going, all right, we're making movies, we're reliving our childhood, let's do it. And the entire crew always feels buoyant because Spielberg's energy is this. His directing style is he never says you've done anything wrong. He just says a little more color to the voice. No, okay, let's try it louder. All right, now pace it up. He always wants things to be faster. And he waits, and then when you get it right, he goes, that was great. Print that one. Let's do that. Circle that one. Make sure to circle that one. That was great. Can we do another just like that? And then we can do one for you, but we got it. You always feel like I haven't done anything wrong, and I guess I can try anything because everything. So it's clear from the moment that you start working with him, and I've known him before this, but it's clear from the first shot that you can do no wrong, and this is why he is the greatest director.
Up next, we'll talk fan encounters, secret talents, and Trump with TJ Miller. Plus, we'll be joined by a special guest. We'll be right back. We're back with TJ Miller. Don't forget, Silicon Valley airs June 25th. That's his wind-up. Meticulously Ridiculous airs June 17th. That's his stand-up. The Emoji Movie airs in theaters July 28th. That's his voiceover. Okay, what do you think of President Trump? We ask this of every guest.
No, I know what that I could not ever have to think about, Donald Trump. That was
Shakespearean.
Thank you.
That I could ever know.
Yeah, and why this constant assault that we all masochistically see in notifications on our phones and our computers of him over and over making mistakes, making irrational decisions, being arrogant, being sociopathic. I mean, truly sociopathic in every single move that he makes. I can't imagine, I never could have imagined seeing the American democratic experiment, as people have been saying, sort of burn like the Roman Empire under a man who is no better than Nero. It is really hard to watch.
No better than Nero.
I mean, it's really hard to watch. He does not care about this thing that he has sort of, as a huckster, conned his way into, a job that he didn't even really want because he himself has a terrible opinion of the insecurity in this man. It is harrowing to watch what is happening right now and not be able to do more than contribute financially and with time to progressive organizations.
Where do you think it's gonna go?
Well, he'll fire somebody who already, this is just, we've revealed to the world how incompetent our government can be instead of what a superpower and like a country that leads with an ideology that the rest of the world should look to. Now we're this kind of sham of an oligarchy where he's firing people that are going to investigate him and openly saying like, well, that's not real, and he's going to keep finding stuff out, and he lies, and you can put video next to each other where he says one thing and then the next. We're living in I've been saying lately, we're living in a post-real reality because news is fake, or they say that it is. A reality television star is the president of the United States. it's horrible and confusing, and I sort of feel like we need to do everything we can to get him out of there before he does something really damaging.
Other than that, you have no opinion on it.
And no comment is what
Okay,
isn't that what I just said? Did I say
Yeah,
no
no
comment?
comment. Play a little game of If You Only Knew. I just throw some questions at you, TJ. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Steve Martin, because he could make my mother laugh. Try and figure that out, you Oedipal psychiatrist. And I said edible, not Oedipal.
Secret talent.
I'm a juggler. Not many people know that.
Person you'd trade places with for a day.
Right now, to be honest with you, you.
We,
Really, truly, look at the pictures of your life. I would love to have just one day in it.
What's the weirdest job you've ever had?
Not weirdest, but when I worked at McDonald's, I learned quite a bit in my short stint there.
What did you do, make French fries?
I tried to work the register, but it was so hard, and people get so angry if the food isn't fast and you didn't get my order, and I asked for no pickles, that they slowly pushed me right over to the fries. It's true that the fries is for those who cannot do the cashier's job.
Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Well, pornography. I mean, every time.
Okay, well, we all have that.
No, I'm just kidding. I think my guilty pleasure is, I would say, watching a movie when I know that I should be doing something else. I know I should be working. I'd rather watch Sam Rockwell and Moon.
He's great.
Yeah, and watching Heat over and over again, the De Niro, Pacino, Michael Mann film. Sorry.
Like scene in the lunch in the dining room.
Yes.
Is there an impression you can do?
Is there an impression that you can do? You do impressions.
No, do you do?
No, you do impressions.
The next question is, what never fails to make you laugh?
I mean, you haven't failed to make me laugh, and especially when you were on Gorburger. So I'd say Larry King. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll come up twice in these answers.
I know. Well, you do enjoy hearing about yourself.
What superpower would you like to have?
Humility. Just kidding. No, I think
Everyone will
the
have
ability to make everyone laugh, and to do that, you would have to be on every platform, every medium. It's difficult to be omnipresent unless you are time.
What's the best piece of advice you ever got?
Listen. Actually, I didn't get it. You gave that piece of advice to Gorburger. I thought that was just listen. If you're interviewing someone, listen. I have a tough time with that.
My motto is, I never learned anything when I was talking. What's the best perk of being a celebrity?
There aren't many. I mean,
No?
it's an absolute intrusion on your life from every level. And I make a living off of seeming to be your best friend. That's what I do on screen
When
and
in fact
voiceover.
you're not.
Well, when in fact people approach me much more than they approach other people because I'm already their friend. And so they're coming over and they're drunk and they're in New Orleans and they want to take a picture.
What's been your strangest fan encounter?
I had, not strangest, but the most raw was I had a guy in Kansas, very drunk during the day, come over and ask me to take a picture. And I said, yeah, I will, but just let me finish ordering my drink because it's a busy bar. And he just suddenly said, man, you, man, I didn't even know. I didn't even know who you were. You know, you think you're, my girlfriend said you were famous. I didn't even know. I was like, who's that? I come over here and I said, you're not, man. Nobody knows who you are. You, man. You know, go yourself. And I felt very, very much like this could become a physical altercation. And that was when I realized that now my life had changed and wasn't going to ever change back. It was just going to be a version of a life where that could happen. And that was pretty raw. And then
What did you say?
I kind of tried to navigate using humor like I have since I was a kid, my way out of having a fist fight with this guy because he was being so inappropriate and absolutely intrusive, and that's not okay. And you have to draw a boundary with those people.
Sure.
But before doing that with your hands, you know, I try and joke my way out of it. That's what I do with everything.
Tell me something people don't know about you.
Boy, I'm a pretty open book. I think that I secretly wondered if my wife Kate was ever going to marry me. I thought maybe she was too good for me. She was out of my league, a film that I was in and is very, very solid.
Do you have children?
I don't have children, but I hope to in the next year or two. Excited about that. You have children.
Yeah,
Do you recommend it?
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's what
Fatherhood
Kate
is the best. You'll be a great father.
I think so.
She'll have
And a great mother,
We're
too.
going to be joined by a special guest in our final segment. You don't want to miss this.
It's going to be a lot better than the previous one.
Say goodbye to him. We'll be right back.
Signing out, Larry King.
Our special guest in this final segment, TJ has left us.
Hey,
It's
goodness.
Gorburger.
Yes, Gorburger, it's me, Larry King.
Okay,
Gorburger
slow
from the
down. Let me tell you who
Gorburger
you are.
Show.
Gorburger is
Yeah.
a giant blue monster who took over a Japanese television station.
Correct.
He began on Funny or Die for 2 seasons. Comedy Central picked him up
Yes.
for 8 episodes in the first season. Gorburger, you are now a star.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, Larry, I love it. I love having my own show. Do you like having your own show?
Always.
Yes. And you know, if you're the star of the show,
Right.
like you can call it the Gorburger Show, just like you call it Larry King now. Now, why now? Why not Larry King then?
Would you miss Japan?
Well, yes. I mean, I won't say that the people taste better, but they're better for you. Like fish for humans.
When did you decide to become a host?
Well, it was something that I always wanted to do. And I was sent here on a particular, well, let's say I have an endeavor. Well, I thought the best way to learn about human beings was to, well, host a show and ask them about it. I mean, isn't that sort of what you do, Larry?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not. You're an alien.
Yes, but I have a particular perspective on human beings being an alien, whereas you are a human. So likely you relate more to your guests than I do, unless it's Usher, who I relate to because of his abilities in the dancing department. You know what I'm talking about.
What
That guy
pla-
can move.
What planet are you from?
Sutaro, which means I will not tell you.
Does everybody on your planet look like you?
Yes, but if I look at you and you're another one of my species, you would look like whatever my eyes are able to see. And where I'm from, everybody to my eyes looks sort of like you. But someone else might see me as looking more like Christina Aguilera,
Are
who
you
is in the Emoji Movie.
Are you
I'm
a-
excited because I'm Japanese.
are you a male or female?
Well, it doesn't really work like that. Humans are beginning to be more gender fluid and open to sort of all of that nonsense. I don't know what the hell.
You have no gender on Zotoba?
Sutaro! But I'm what you would call sort of a male that has female genitalia, but that is roving. My genitalia is roving, so it's in different parts of my body at all times. Did you notice my suspenders?
No.
Well, here, let me stand up here. Let me show you. Look I'm wearing suspenders, Larry. Ah!
Ah!
It's an homage to you, Larry King. These are small chairs.
Tell me about, as you look at our planet, what's the future of Earth?
Well, that's sort of what the show's about, Larry. I mean, my show. I sort of, I'm wondering what people think is going to happen. I'm interested in whether or not humans are going to be able to understand their condition and better it or just worsen it. Also, what they'll do with the planet. But it's confusing times, I suppose, especially in Japan, where there is a giant Godzilla-like monster lurking in the depths of the sea, and they do not have the technology to stop it or know what it is or that it's there.
Do you know him, Godzilla?
What? Oh, well, that's, let me put it this way. I call him God.
Wow.
We're on a first name basis. I know him, but I don't know him. Does that make sense, Larry? Do you feel like you really know any of your guests, or do you feel like you know them at the end of an interview?
You sort of know them.
What do you mean? Oh, I get it.
Well, you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
But you don't really, nobody knows what's inside. Right now, you could be thinking, Larry King is a jerk.
That's what I'm thinking. What?
See, you really think?
So you know what I'm thinking.
But I don't know what you're thinking. So when I interview people, I know what they're saying.
Yes.
I try to draw them out.
I mean, you do.
but I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Why don't you go back to your planet?
Because I'm here to work, Larry, just like you. Do you think, Larry, that what you do is positive for humanity? Do you
Yes.
think you do? You do?
Yes.
So tell us all why.
Because people learn more. They watch this show, except for this particular segment.
Of course.
People learn
Very
more
funny.
about life when they watch me.
Yes.
They know more at the end of the show than they did before the show began.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's true. And also, people want to know what it's like to be other people. That's why humans like art and movies so much. Film is a medium where you inhabit another person's life for a while, and you get to give people a slice of life.
Are you the only person from your planet on Earth?
Well, yes. And I got to tell you, sometimes that's pretty lonely.
You must be lonely.
Well, yes, I mean,
What do you do for companionship?
I've enslaved half of a Japanese television show, and the inventor on the show is my best friend, Kazuki!
I think you're Jewish.
What?
I think you're Jewish.
Don't throw around insults at me, Larry King.
Stop.
What?
We're out of time.
What?
We're out of time.
Well, Larry King, would you ever consider doing my show again? Whether I'm
Absolutely.
Jewish or not, because, you know, where I come from, it's an insult to call somebody religious, because to believe in something greater than yourself is to limit your own potential. Larry King.
Well said.
Thank you.
I will return to your show.
Yes! Yes! And I promise not to have bloodlust. Because, Larry, sometimes, here, and push in on me with the camera, sometimes I have
hold it, Gorburger.
Thank
I want to thank my earlier guest, the inimitable T.J. Miller.
Why?
T.J. Miller, Meticulously Ridiculous, airs June 17th. And the season 4 finale of Silicon Valley airs June 25th, both on HBO.
In my show.
And Gorburger, I'll be back on Gorburger. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. And I'll see you next time. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, and watch the Gorburger Show on Comedy Central Sundays, and you can download it on iTunes and Amazon!
It's getting on my nerves.
Larry King, you are getting on my nerves.
Okay, out.
You're on my last nerve.
Out.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Out.
All right.
Out.
You parked in my space.